right, here we go. Okay, good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone who's here. Welcome to the professional learning series for the fall term for 2021. This is the webinar on celebrating Native American Alaska Native Heritage Month. We're here to share some resources for CS educators, and we have a treat today because we have guest presenter who doesn't come alone. He comes with some of his colleagues and a few of his students from his robotics team that's in Wyoming, at Wyoming Indian High School, and we're so excited to hear from them today. So so the activity I have for our welcome, I wanted to preface it with the name, like an activity that's called, well, not activity, it's a practice of Native American naming traditions. And so Native American naming traditions it varies per tribe. Typically, they're derived from nature. They might represent an animal that symbolizes desirable characteristics or a certain trait. A Native American name gives us an insight into the personality of the one who possesses it. And each name fulfills the purpose of revealing something about the character or temperament of the person or place. So names like these are still used across America today, and some people receive more than one name, which reflects significant character changes during their lifetime. And so there's legal names that are given, and then there's also Native American names that are also earned. And so today for our welcome activity, in the chat, please introduce yourself and the origins of your name as much as you know. For example, how did you get your name? Who chose your name, if you know that? So a quick activity to put in the chat for those of you who are here. We'd love to learn about how you got your name. Oh, Jason, that's cool. I didn't know that. So while we're waiting for them to come in, my name is Lily Mora. I'm a professional learning manager at CSTA. My name, Lily Beth, it actually originates from my parents' name. My parents' name are Lillian and Benjamin. And my mom thought about, oh, let's just put the names together. And she came up with Lily Ben, but my dad hated it. And so he went with a name that my grandma suggested, which was Lilybeth. And my grandma had a fascination with English royalty. And like a lot of people know now, because of a new royal that's named Lilybeth, it's a nickname for Queen Elizabeth, who had a hard time pronouncing that name. So my name is Lilybeth. I go by Lily. So BT, his dad's name is John Michael. He was supposed to be Michael John, but his cousin stole it. So his middle name is John, but his first name means strength just because my parents liked it. But he's gone by BT for a long time. Awesome. Shayna Glass, her surname is Victorian. And Shayna is actually Jewish, and it means pretty. Very fitting, Shayna. Her middle name is Nari, which is her mom's named reversed. Oh, cool. Which is Rena. I love it. Richard Winn comes from his father's name, Donnie James, and he wasn't there to receive his Indian name before his great grandfather went home. These are awesome. So we'd love for JB, can you put that in the chat for those who come in late? But thank you all for sharing about so Vicky says her parents thought they were going to have a boy and that she was going to be Victor. But because it was a surprise, her name is Victoria, which means victory, and her middle name is Lynn. Oh, it's pretty. Victoria Lynn is a pretty name. Thanks, Vicky. Okay, thank you guys for sharing. Oh, of course, I could share that with you. Awesome. Okay, so we are going to continue. Give me 1 second. Okay, so a cool fact, did you know that 26 states were named by Native Americans? I had no idea. So here is a slide that has, this is slide 5 on the slide deck. It has the 26 states, starting with Alabama. And in this, it's also hyperlinked in the slide deck where I got the information from, but it also says like which tribe, um, like where the meaning comes from. But what's cool about this is the very last state on this list is Wyoming. And Wyoming means on the Great Plain. And why that's important today is because who our guest presenter is. Who we have today is the famous, the amazing James Richard Winn from CSTA, Wyoming. He is a teacher and a library media specialist at Wyoming Indian High School. He is a equity fellow from the last cohort, a good friend of mine, and I am so excited about him being here today. He has an amazing, inspiring story that I've heard a few times already, but would love for him to share a little bit of that today with you all. But he also has with him a handful of his students who are here to talk to us about their experience and being Native American in computer science. So without further ado, and with a drum roll, Richard Winn.
All right, so my story is that I got into this to help bring, bring more Native American students opportunities in technology. Because when I was subbing, I went to a code.org training and learned that Native Americans make up less than 1% of people in industry. So at that point, it became my mission. I got on with a marvelous school district, Wyoming Indian Schools, that has shown me incredible support. We purchased all the licenses and everything so that when my students leave this high school, they'll be certified with CompTIA professional certifications and be ready to enter the workforce at that point. It's something that I'm very passionate about. My big dream is to eventually create a Wind River Cyber Academy that students from all across the Wind River Reservation can come to get that experience and those certifications and be prepared for either college or to go directly into the field. And that is the short version of my story. Lily's heard the long version, and I'll end up crying the whole time. So I don't know how much you want me to talk and how much you want to talk to my students. These are two fabulous young ladies right here sitting next to me. Right next to me is Angel, and next to her is Kylie. Angel is taking the AP Java class, and she is the leader of our tech squad. Kylie is taking the intro to Java so that she can take the AP class next year, and she's a member of our robotics team. If you'd like to talk to more students, I've got plenty in the back building their robots right now, but we're open for your questions.
Before we go to the students, James, for this specific recording, could you share about why or how you became a CS teacher and a little bit of that journey that you had?
Yeah, so what I did is my wife wanted me to get out of the house because I was working a freelance business. I was developing websites and people were bringing their computers to me to repair. And she's like, you've got to get out of the house. So she suggested that I apply for a sub license because I had plenty of credits college credits to get that substitutes license through the state of Wyoming. Did that. I started subbing And then, like I said, I came across code.org, and I don't even know how, but they were having a training in Laramie, which is on the other side of the state. So I signed up for it, and I took myself down there and did that training. And everybody told me I was crazy because, you know, a school should be sending you, you shouldn't be sending yourself. But when I left that training with the statistics that were given, like, I need to try to do something to change those statistics. So I went home from that training. I closed my business down. I turned all of my clients over to other trustworthy firms and began this journey into teaching CS. The state of Wyoming has what they call a PIC license, so you don't have to have that master's degree or bachelor's degree to get licensed. I have 40 years of experience in industry. So they accepted that in lieu of the bachelor's degree and gave me what they call a PIC license. I think it stands for Professional Industrial Certification. I don't know, but it's not a true teaching license, but it does allow me to teach. And so I'm certified in IT, which IT was computer science in the beginning days. And so information technology does have that umbrella so that I can teach computer science legally in the state of Wyoming. And from there, it's just history. I started out as a 5th grade para in another reservation school district. And after 2 years of that, I could see that. And they asked me to pilot a code.org program for them for their middle school students, which was a fantastic experience. So I did that, and then I was 5th grade para the rest of the day. And I realized that teaching one class in the mornings wasn't reaching enough students. So I looked for positions with the other nearby school districts, and Wyoming Indian Schools picked me up. They hired me as a library/media specialist paraprofessional. And within 20 days, the superintendent came to me and offered me a teaching contract and asked me if I would teach some classes.
So,
So last year, we actually doubled the number of computer science classes in this high school. After they offered me the teaching contract, we added 2 more classes to the roster. And this year I'm teaching 6 computer science classes. And we've hired a second teacher to teach graphic design, which kind of falls under the field of computer science. And those students will be looking at getting Adobe certifications. We didn't get the Adobe certifications approved for this year, but next year our students will receive Adobe certification for going through the graphic design classes.
that's awesome, Richard. Well, I didn't say it the first time, but I wanted to thank your wife for getting you out of the house, and for encouraging you to explore education, because the CS education community is better because of it. And we are so excited about your growing program. It feels, even the way you explain it is very organic, the process of how much it evolved, from doing a club or having just one class in the morning to being this full-fledged program where there's more than just you, which is awesome. So we'd love to hear from the students that are here. First, we want to thank you for being here. Could you introduce yourself, what grade you're in, and when did your computer science journey start in your experience?
been at the school for 4 years. I started with,
Is it okay if you speak a little bit louder? We're having a hard time. Is that okay? Thank you.
I started with Java in freshman year, and I think just from there, I just wanted that as a class for the rest of my high school years, I suppose. And it's just something I really liked. I didn't think I would even, and I've gone further than I thought I would have gone.
He actually prepared 2 Chromebooks this morning in under an hour. So, Kylie? I'll speak for Kylie. She's a sophomore this year, right? She was in computer science last year, the code.org class. She participated in Girls Who Code over the summer. She won an award for that actually in the summer immersion program. And she's one of my phenomenal students, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 years with her. She's a little bashful.
That's okay. So what we wanted to know, what got you interested in this at all, like from the very beginning? And do you remember the very first time, like maybe as early as elementary, do you remember having like access to any of the computer science kind of experiences?
I don't think I liked it. I didn't like it at first. I didn't like it until I started realizing I was really good at it. So, I mean, I guess there were signs that I was good at math and I was good at problem solving, being able to put them together, make things go orderly. And then I realized what code was while I was in that class, and I think it just gone from there.
Basically, your freshman year. So her freshman year is when she first got interested. Yeah, she did robotics before I was here, so it uses the FTC robotics uses Java, so it just kind of worked out perfect. So Kylie, when did you first get interested? Oh, so you were forced into it. Kylie was forced into it.
So was I.
Angel apparently was forced into it, but they both love it now, so got to be doing something right.
What does the makeup of the team look like? Because the 2 students you have here are both female, right? So I was wondering what the rest of the team is it like half or what's the percentage?
Actually, I think have more girls than boys involved in it. The boys we do have are actually come up from middle school to practice with us. So they're 7th and 8th graders. We've got 3 boys actually in high school on the team. But for the most part, we've got more girls than we do guys, for sure.
Sorry, I love that so much, that girls are leading the way. Jason, you have any questions you want to ask Richard or the students?
Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about any current project, robotics related. Take us through a competition or something like that. Like what does that look?
So this year's competition, we had to completely redesign our robots because the bottom end, the chassis, the drive, wouldn't go over the obstacles that they put out there for us this year. And if you get the opportunity, go to YouTube, search FTC Robotics. There's tons and tons of video out there of what we do. We're going to actually be getting some videos on YouTube, hopefully here pretty quick too. But it has a 30-second autonomous period. Then it has a 2-minute driven period. And then it's got a 30-second end game period. So right now, Kylie's working on the autonomous program to get our robot to actually go by itself. As soon as you turn it on, it should run over and park in a certain spot. And hopefully, once we get that running, we're going to put a thing on it, because there's a second part to that autonomous where you can get 10 easy points, and it's just by spinning a platform around. So once we get the bottom end figured out, autonomous, and get that moving and get that robot where we want it to stop, then Kylie will start working on programming it for the top end so that we can earn some more points. You get points for doing certain things. This year's game is called Freight Frenzy. So it's Amazon's behind it. And it's all about moving cargo from one place to another. And of course, Amazon would love to have more autonomous programs. We did a virtual tour with an Amazon fulfillment center that was just incredible. This huge warehouse, no people, but there's robots running around, and the robots all talk to each other, and they never ever collide. They know exactly where they are. It's just really kind of interesting. It was interesting to watch. But I'm hoping that this will show some of these guys that, hey, you know what? More and more jobs are getting lost to technology. That's why this is so important for me to get you involved, because humans aren't needed in the workforce like they once were. And it's changing more and more every single day. You see more and more humans losing jobs to machines. And so the robotics program gives them a chance to see not only the programming side of things, but also the engineering and building side of things, as well as they have to keep an engineering book throughout the entire process that they write in at every practice of what they did. They can draw pictures and just keep adding to that book. That's part of one of the things that they're looking for. You have to present your book, and they'll ask you questions about that book at the competition. So Kylie, you gotta come out of your shell.
Oh, so can you clarify, did you say that you started from scratch for the
Yes.
build of the robot, or did you, because at what point did you guys decide, and how much time did it for you to realize the current robot we have isn't going to be able to clear that obstacle? Like then, and then was it like a team decision of like, hey, we've tried everything, now we should just build a whole new one? Like, can you explain that process? Because I think it's a really valuable process for students to experience.
Yeah, so early or late September, they have what they call the kickoff. That's the first time that anybody gets to see what the field looks like. And that's when the game is presented for the first time, and we learn about where we can earn points. So because our school actually did the kickoff for Wyoming this year, we got the game a little bit early, so we got to see what it looks like. We actually had the field set up prior to kickoff. And our old chassis, while they were great and they could move side to side, front, back, left, right, they were incredible machines. They couldn't clear because the field this year has two big obstacles. It's like a T right down the center of the field. And the chassis that we had built over the summer and during early practices before the kickoff party, we had built these chassis, and when we actually saw the game, that's when we first realized, oh no, this isn't going to work. And so they have come up with a couple of designs that actually give the wheels more clearance. They're using the bigger wheels, and they can go up and over the obstacles, so it's not a problem now. with this new design. And like I said, each team, we've got 4 teams with, 3 people per team, 2 people per team. 2 of the teams are all girl teams. And they each come up with their own, we show them, okay, this is what will probably work. Then they figure out how they want to build it, and they build it, and they put it together and test it, and it went over the obstacles and got everywhere it needed to go. So we decided that as a team, that's probably the best design. And so that, I don't know if you can see this one. Oops, sorry. This here is Kylie's robot. So what you can see is she came up with this different mounting bracket. The wheels used to be mounted up here. And now, because of this different mounting bracket down here on the bottom, it puts the wheels down about that much further. About that much further. So it gives them the clearance they need to get up and over. And the rubber wheels actually grab a hold of that obstacle and pull it up. And then it pushes itself right on over. So wonderful design. That's Miss Kylie's robot. So
That's awesome. I think that because you had talked about the journaling process, that would have been, that to me, that sounds like it would just be so great to walk, just to flip through those pages of what it looked like after learning that the existing design wasn't going to fit or wasn't going to, clear it, and then arriving at a point of this model is a lot more appropriate for the obstacle. And it also makes me think about like sedans versus SUVs and how they're designed with having that much clearance so that it can absorb all that shock. Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
oh, absolutely. You know me, I'm happy to share anything. Share my students, force them to come and stay here even when they don't want to.
So when is the next competition, or when the next round?
November 5th will be our first scrimmage, and it will be actually here at Wyoming Indian Schools. And I think we've got 5 other schools with teams coming. So each school usually has 2 to 3 teams. So it ought to be a pretty big event. Like I said, we did the kickoff party for the whole state of Wyoming. So we had so many people. We did it at the casino, and did we do that at the casino? We did that here. Okay, so the kickoff party we did here, our outreach we did at the casino. The outreach, we invited all the reservation schools to come in. The ones that showed up, we provided them with a robot. We provided them with their $500 entry fee. We provided them with their everything they needed to get that first robot running. So they got all the extra parts. They got all of everything. We spent probably about $3,000 per school, and we had 5 schools show up for that. So, and of those 5, we've still got 4 that are active. So we're looking at a pretty good season this year. And part of the gracious professionalism that the FTC promotes is the outreach program. And these guys will actually probably win an award for the outreach that they've done here in Wyoming at the end of this year when we go to state.
Along those lines of outreach, what do you say to students to encourage them to join robotics? Can you guys share some of your tactics or strategies? Because on this call, you'll see some other educators that may or may not be having some struggle with getting students to sign up.
I think for these guys, just getting the robots out and running up and down the halls of the school was a big impact on getting them involved. I know that the middle school students we got here right now was because at the end of last year, I took the robot down to the middle school and let them drive it at a big assembly at the end of the year. And they drove it all over the gym down there at the middle school. And almost all of those kids that signed up for it then are here tonight. And they come to every practice. They ride the bus up from the middle school and catch our activities bus to go home. So it's been a process, but I think the best recruiting tool there is for robotics is actually getting the robot chassis out there and driving it up and down the halls. What got you interested? And personal invitation. So Kylie was personally invited by our head coach.
So I heard you saying.
That's why she joined too.
So I heard you saying basically that the robots are also taking over the marketing.
Yeah.
They're taking over everything.
They're taking over everything. It's kind of a sad state of affairs. You know, what scares me is machine learning, which I'm actually included that into all my classes this year, a machine learning element. And I've got JetBots and NVIDIA Jetsons to power those for the brains. And what they'll do is they will take pictures of different angles of the track. Then they'll turn that robot on and it should be able to, from the pictures that you've taken, analyze where it needs to go and stay right on the middle of that track, center of that track, and go around the corners and everything all the way to the end. But this machine learning, you know, now they're talking about machines writing code. Can the artificial intelligence write the code for us? And that to me, as a coder, is probably the most scary statement I've ever heard.
So we have a question from the audience. Someone you know very well, Shayna Glass, is asking, do your current students recruit other students?
We try to get them to recruit other students. Kylie brought her sister in. Huh?
When I was in robotics, I had all my friends in robotics.
Angel brought all of her friends into it. So yes, the students do recruit each other. And the robotics just really kind of speaks for itself. And once they start getting involved, I've yet to see anybody not enjoy it.
Well, it sounds like this program is going to keep getting bigger and bigger because everybody keeps bringing their friends.
That's our hope. That's my goal. Actually, my goal is to make computer science huge in the state of Wyoming.
Well, we love the impact you're having in that area and reaching. Well, for those of you who missed Richard's story earlier, he's from the industry, and when he was exposed to the statistic that Native Americans aren't in the numbers because they're less than 1% of the field, that's what encouraged him, or really was basically, it felt like a slap in the face, right, Richard, that there's not enough people to even earn a percentage. And so that was his motivation, right, to get in the trenches of education and to start spreading the good news of computer science. And so we're excited. It looks like you have a huge space to work with there, Richard. Looks like you could fit a whole lot more kids after school in that space.
Yeah. Well, the ones you can't see are actually, we've got another huge space almost the size of this same room that was storage, that as soon as I took over the library, I turned that into our robotics lab. So we've got 5 tables back there and they're all full back there right now building the chassis. So yeah, it's a lot more than you can see just right here. So and what you can't see is they bought me a rack, and our IT consultant has got servers donated from his consulting company. So we're going to get a couple of servers. He's got a couple of routers, a couple of switches, some patch panels, and we will have our own private separate network from the school's network as a sandbox that these guys can get hands-on experience working with servers and networking and the whole 9 yards.
That's awesome. We have another question from the audience from BT. How do you build culture and community in your robotics and CS programs?
So the robotics, I don't know that we're really putting culture into that, but my CS programs that I teach, most of the learning is done through project-based, and I'll take a code.org project, but I'll put a cultural twist on it so that there has to be some kind of culture. So I'm using the computer science at the same time to kind of document the culture of, well, right now we're mostly Arapaho students. So we'll get more Arapaho stuff documented and put away so that it will always have it, not lose it. My tribe in California, while the entire nation, there's a lot of information out there about my particular tribe, the Choinumni. All of our elders are gone. I don't even know that anybody's even living on our reservation anymore. And so I never had the opportunity to learn my tribe's culture and my tribe's language. Whereas here, hopefully through these projects, we'll be able to document it, put it away, and keep it for posterity.
That's amazing.
Hey, BT, good to see you. Even though I can't see your face. And Shayna, I love you, girl. Man, I miss our monthly meetings. I really do. That was so much fun. I wish we could do it in person.
Shayna says she misses you too.
Awesome. Yeah.
Are there any other so BT also put out, he'd love to hear about your students' favorite projects.
Do you have a favorite project?
When I was a sophomore, I made a game.
Okay, so Angel says when she was a sophomore, she made a game. So she's pretty proud of that.
Oh, yeah, I guess I did. I don't know if they're lost yet, but they're like little songs I did.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how to get those, so
We'll figure it out.
that's fine.
So she also did some drawings and stuff. And Kylie, do you have a favorite project
Was that website?
for Girls Who Code? So Kylie says her favorite project was that website that she made for Girls Who Code that actually won her an award. So it's an incredible website. If she gives me the okay, I'll share the link with you guys. But like I said, she's kind of bashful, so I don't know that she'll be okay with that. She gave me the go ahead to share it with the school's principal, so we'll see. I'll see what I can do. I'll work on it. I'll get it to you guys if she gives it to me.
We'd love to see them, or I mean, even just get previews of them, because your students are amazing. Any last questions for Richard or students? All right, well, thank you, Kylie and Angel, right?
Yes.
Those are their names. Thank you so much. We appreciate the two of you taking time out from your build process to hang out with us. We're so honored to have you guys, to have the two of you here. And we hope that you continue to explore computer science beyond your high school experience. We all believe you'd be great at it. You're already doing amazing stuff now. Imagine with more knowledge and experience and resources kind of impact you guys will, that the two of you will have with your community and the CS community at large. So we wanted to congratulate you both and thank you all for joining us.
They said thank you too. We're
Okay.
honored to be here, so.
Well, we're so grateful. Richard, are you okay if we switch gears a little? Because we are gonna just preview. Remember the resource that we, yeah, so thank you, Kylie and Angel. Come back anytime. Especially when you finish projects, you can always show it to us because you'll definitely have a crowd of fans or instant fans of you all. So I'm going to switch gears because we are going to share a few of the resources that we have for our educators. And so, well, I also wanted to note that you can easily look up Wyoming Indian High School, and they have a ton of news coverage on the robotics team. I did a quick search today, and there was just endless articles to check out. They definitely have made a lot of news in a positive way. So we wanted to direct you to some of the resources that we've gathered from a few of our members. And this is on a Google Doc that Jason will drop in the chat at the CSTA Engage meeting last week. We created a document where people can share whatever resources that help celebrate Native American and the Alaska Native heritage. And so if you click on this doc, you'll see on the left is what we also include whatever was already shared with CSTA Voice. And then you have some other resources that were shared between other attendees. For example, and by the way, we're talking November. November is Native American Heritage Month. So that's why we're doing it now, so that you would have time to kind of look through some resources and figure out if you wanted to incorporate it into your lessons in November, or at any time of the school year for that matter. And so one of the examples is an article that lists 18 Native folks in STEM. And so there's a handful of them that you could check out. And you can, whether it be a welcome activity that you start off your class with, or a way to close a lesson out with an exit ticket that can simply be, what do you have in common with the CS hero? And so on here is also a resource to ASIS, which is the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. They have some resources on their website, but they also have events that they sponsor or partner with others. The one that's coming up this week on Friday is the 2021 ASIS Virtual College and Career Fair. So it's virtual. So if you have students that might be interested, it's being hosted by a professional organization of Native Americans that anybody can tune in. So we think this is an awesome opportunity that we want to share with everybody. But we also have some resources that Richard shared with us. There's the Lakota Cyber Academy that he was referring to. His is a 3-course sequence. And then he also directed folks to the CompTIA partnership, where you could apply, and it's an opportunity to join the CompTIA Educators Network. And it also allows you to pay half price for student certification exams, and that's huge. There's other stuff that's on here, but the last resource on here was, I believe, a link that was shared from Jared O'Leary. And if you click on that one, it'll be his list of resources. So you have resources upon resources to check out. We also so this is what it looks like. Just briefly walk you through that. But I wanted to show you an example of how you could feature a Native American CS hero. And so one of the CS heroes from last school year, the 2021 CS Ed Week, which the theme last year was CS for Social Justice. One of the featured CS heroes is Native American, and her her name is Danielle Forward. And so here's a way that you could do this. You can, and if you go to this slide on slide 9, it'll hyperlink it to her webpage in CS Ed Week. And so here it'll show her poster and it has more information about her. And if you go to the webpage, it'll even provide a lot more information, a feature video, and some extension activities if you wanted to dive deeper into the type of work that she does. So here, Danielle connects Indigenous students to tech careers through mentorship, community building, and networking. And so you can get all this information, and a quick reflection question could be, what about this CS hero inspires you? So this could, and you could take this a whole ton of different ways, but we thought that we wanted to give you an example of what you can do. And even if you like this idea and you have access to the slide deck, you could literally just copy and paste it over to your teaching presentation. So we just wanted to preview that for you. And then also, let's see, I could get, there we go. So, is there anything else you want to add, Jason, before I thank everybody?
Oh, I think you covered it all. The resources doc. Richard and his students did a great job as expected and as always. So a solid hour.
Well, thank you, Jason. So we just wanted to thank you all for being here today. We wanted to share some of the upcoming events from CSTA in about 19 days. Oh no, 9 days. Oh, a week and a half. The next professional learning series webinar is on Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So actually, no, this is old. 1 second. Actually, this is not the one. So let me grab the right slide deck. Actually, the next event is on the 20th, and it's National Bullying Prevention Month resources. This one we have a guest from Common Sense Media that's gonna be here to present ways to prevent bullying, both in person and in the cyber world. We also have other events that are coming up on that same day. They're gonna do a replay of the CSTA submissions, how to get an idea that you have to a proposal for a workshop for any of the upcoming summits or the conference. And then also towards the end of the month, we have the CSTA new member orientation on the 26th. So if you are interested in any of these, they're all hyperlinked. It might have the wrong name, but it's definitely the right link. So thank you for joining us today. We do hope to see you the next time, whether it's at Engage or any of the other events. We hope you have a wonderful evening or day, and we hope you have a great week. So thank you all for joining us today. And thank you to Wyoming Indian High School robotics team, specifically Angel and Kylie, right? And Richard Winn, you're a superstar. We always love having you, and we definitely want to continue this partnership with you sharing your story to others, not just at CSTA, but we really believe that your message is so powerful, and that it hopefully can get more CS industry folks to cross over to education. So thank you all for joining us today.